Hello everyone and welcome to Retail Archaeology. In this episode we'll be taking a look at Seaport Village, a interesting little outdoor shopping mall tourist trap thing in San Diego, California. This is a place that I've been meaning to check out for a few years now because people have been sending me messages telling me that it's dying, and I did used to come here when I was a kid when my family would take trips to San Diego. I also came here a couple of times as an adult, but I think it's been at least 10 years since I've been here. I've also gotten a lot of messages from people telling me that this place is going to be demolished soon, but I don't think that's the case, and I'll get into that a little bit more later in the video. Here's a look at the map, the only map that I could find of the place, so you can kind of see how big it is. And you can see it's kind of a big, sprawling, outdoor shopping mall thing with a lot of restaurants and stuff dotted in between. And this place is designed to definitely be a tourist trap. Most of the stores are geared towards tourists, and it's also within walking distance of the San Diego Convention Center and a cruise ship terminal. The last time I was here about 10 years ago, I would say that it wasn't doing well, but it wasn't dead. This was filmed in the middle of June 2021, and I wouldn't describe this as dead either, contrary to a lot of the messages that I got. Now that could be because this was at a time when everybody thought the pandemic was over, and so people were going out in public again and doing things. And so that may have artificially made this place look busier than it normally is, and also there was probably a lot more tourism going on as well. So that could explain why maybe it looks busier than it normally is. Now, as far as the comments saying that this place is going to be demolished soon or redeveloped, that's only half true. This place is owned by the Port of San Diego, and they have announced that they do want to do some redevelopment on this site, but they've also said that that most likely won't start until 2025 or 2026 at the earliest. And it doesn't sound like they plan on demolishing the place either. I started getting messages from people 2 or 3 years ago telling me that this place was going to be demolished soon, and obviously that hasn't happened yet. And I'm glad that it doesn't sound like it's going to go away anytime soon, because I really do think this place is really neat, and it's really pretty to look at. It's just a short walk right there to the shore. As much as I like this place, I do understand why they want to do some redevelopment. When this place opened in 1980, having a little tourist trap shopping mall thing with kitschy little shops made sense, but there's a lot more to do in San Diego now. Here's one of those little kitschy shops I was talking about, though. This is a toy store called Gigantos. It's kind of weird when you think about it. All of the national toy store chains are gone, and all that's left are these little independent mom and pop toy shops. I always have fun looking through these stores, though. There's always something weird or interesting. I love little handheld electronic games and stuff, so I was immediately drawn over here. They had a couple of those little generic knockoff Game Boy systems, but this one in particular caught my eye because it's Nintendo Famicom themed. You can see it's got that gold and kind of reddish maroon coloring going. But it's all just really super generic games. They also had some of those reproduction Mattel handheld electronic games that people find at thrift stores and think they found an original one. You guys want to see something gross? Influencer Boutique. Ugh. That is an awful name. All that's going to do is attract people who think they're influencers. And I'm no fashionista or anything, but that outfit looks like one that I would see in a generic store at a failing outlet mall. Speaking of failing malls, this place does start to look more like a dead mall the further you get into it. There's a lot fewer people walking around back here, and also a lot more closed shops. And this was kind of interesting. This is the first time I've ever seen a TV studio inside a shopping mall. That opened back in April of 2021. It belongs to a Mexican television station that broadcasts out of Tijuana, which is very close to San Diego. It really was a gorgeous day when I was here filming. Like I mentioned earlier, this was in the middle of June, but the temperatures were down in the low to mid 70s, whereas in the Phoenix area it was around 115 degrees. So I was definitely glad to be here in San Diego, and not Phoenix. I've done videos covering outdoor malls in the Phoenix area, and I've mentioned in those videos how much I dislike them, because it's just so hot and uncomfortable to walk around, and it kind of defeats the purpose of having a mall. But here in San Diego, I absolutely love the outdoor malls. It seems to be a pretty good mix of outdoor and then your traditional enclosed malls. And the outdoor malls really are just gorgeous, and the weather is perfect for it. Even though this place is more of a tourist trap than a traditional mall, I really do enjoy walking around it. I mean, how many traditional malls do you know that have a central pond? And the sign says, please don't feed the waterfowl, but of course people are throwing bread in there, which is terrible for ducks. I also noticed this bunny just chilling over here by itself. I didn't want to get too close because I didn't want to scare him off. Surprisingly, I've seen a lot of different wildlife, filming malls over the years, but I don't think I've ever seen a rabbit before, so I'll have to add that to the list. We'll go ahead and let him go about his day. Like I mentioned, people were throwing bread in here for the ducks, which is terrible. If you do feel the need to feed ducks, things that are better for them to eat are peas, sliced grapes, but definitely not bread. It just makes them sick. A simple Google search will give you a whole list of things that you can feed ducks. This central pond is closer to the front of Seaport Village, and you can see there's a lot more foot traffic and people hanging out here than there was further in the back. Now this might be my favorite store here. This is Hot Licks, which is a hot sauce store, and it's been here a very long time. I ended up grabbing that bottle of secret aardvark sauce that my friend Vani pointed out there. It really was fantastic on biscuits and gravy, like she said. Eat hot sauce. I completely agree. Maybe not colon cleaner though. I'm not a fan of the gimmicky hot sauces. Something I did notice is that even though there were a lot of people walking around, a lot of them weren't carrying shopping bags. There were some people walking around with suitcases though, so I guess this place is still kind of doing its job as a tourist trap. What really seemed to be drawing a lot of people into Seaport Village, at least the day we were there, were all of the restaurants and food booths and things. It seemed like a lot of people were here more to eat than they were to shop. And that seemed to be the busiest area. Pardon my hand there, but you can see my hot sauce bag. But anyways, this was kind of like the food court area, and this seemed to be the busiest part of Seaport Village. I also did some searches on recent headlines about Seaport Village, and almost all of them were about new restaurants and dining locations opening up here. So that may be a big chunk of what this place's future is more of a dining destination and less of a shopping destination. Which is a shame, because I do love these little shops and these little cottages. Swings and things. This is a store that sells wind chimes and hammocks and things like that. These birds are kind of cool. I think that's part of the reason why this place is so much fun to roam around. There's just all kinds of weird stuff like that. And they've got a couple of fountains here as well. It seems like while traditional indoor enclosed shopping malls have all pretty much gotten rid of their fountains, outdoor shopping malls are really leaning into them. I mean, you can tell this is an older fountain, but it's still in fantastic shape. And this is a shot of what it would look like if you were sitting inside the fountain. You can see Mark there and my friends Ian and Vani. I believe Mark and Ian were trading horror stories about working in restaurants. So far off in the distance there where it looks busy, that's where we just came from, where all of the restaurants are, but as you can see, once you get into the shops, things really start to quiet down. I really do love the aesthetic of this place. I hope they don't get rid of too much of it during the redevelopment. I think this store might carry all the flags. I'm not sure what's tackier, this store or the influencer boutique we saw earlier. Let me know down in the comments below which one you think is the biggest offender. This, however, is not tacky. I love this bench and planter. It gives off the same vibe as those old brick planters and benches you would see in older traditional malls, but it matches the aesthetic here. Have you ever seen a store completely dedicated to windsocks and kites? Because I haven't. But I have seen candy stores like this at a lot of malls, and I love these places. And this candy store has one of those penny smasher machines, which again, that's a very tourist trappy kind of thing. But my daughter collects these from like Disneyland and different theme parks, so I figured I should get her one from here. I always thought these were cool too when I was a kid. I still have some of the smashed pennies that I got at places like Disneyland, and I should look through my old collection. I wonder if I have one that I got from Seaport Village as a kid, because I kind of remember them having a penny smashing machine somewhere in this place when I was a kid. Unfortunately, I had a hard time getting the camera to focus on this one. I was definitely glad to see that the reports that I got of this place being dead and being on death's door seem to have been a little bit exaggerated. It seems to be just holding on still. There are those redevelopment plans, but they're not going to start those for at least a couple more years, so it seems like this place is safe for now at least. If you have any memories of visiting Seaport Village, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. As always everyone, thanks for watching. Want to see your name here and help support the Retail Archaeology channel? Head on over to patreon.com/retailarchaeology to find out how. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this episode of Retail Archaeology covering Seaport Village. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and also follow at the social media links down there because that's the best way to keep up with what's going on with the channel.